Hello and welcome to episode 32 of our Timberborn Update 6 Apocalypse Mode playthrough with the Iron Teeth. Here in cycle 19, day 84, 5.5 days left in this drought. And last time, we fixed a bunch of stuff and got pretty much all of the nasty out of here. This is still saying 1%, but I'm pretty confident that by the time we get our good water coming back into this area, there's pretty much going to be nothing left in the way of nasty water. Everything on this side, well, this is completely dry, but that says 0%, so I'm pretty confident that we're in good shape. We are kind of lacking in the wood department, which is an issue I probably should have done a little bit more to try and prevent. But we do only have 5.5 days left, so I think it's time for us to go ahead and open up this again, just so the clean water can flow through here as appropriate. Hopefully it doesn't flood, but if it does, it's going to be okay because it's going to be clean water. No issues detected. I did have the thought that maybe it would be smart to pump some of this bad water out so we could just remove all of this, but then I realized, you know, it's only going to be a problem if this ends up being filled, and I don't think it's very likely that our main reservoir is going to be completely full to the point of overflowing, so we won't have to worry about it. I had a couple comments, people expressing disappointment that I elected to build the Earth Repopulator in a quote-unquote boring location. So, you know what? Let's hit pause on that. Get this thing on triple speed because we do not want to have this take any longer than it absolutely has to. And I guess we've got to find a decent spot to put this thing. And I'm going to be completely honest, the layout of this entire thing is just complete garbage, and I do not have any ideas to fix it, and I kind of don't want to tear everything down and rebuild it because this has been such an enormous struggle of an entire series. But if we're going to absolutely require that the Earth Repopulator, when it is finished, be in a place that is not stupid, then honestly the only real thing I can think of is to put it above this middle area here, right about where the district center itself is. Which, you know, not really a great spot, but I don't know, man. I'm out of ideas. I'm completely out of ideas. Like, this is running on fumes, and you guys begging in the comments for it to keep going. So, I guess we'll figure that out. But I will pause this so we don't, you know, put all our materials into it, and then I have to tear it down. Before it's complete, we can actually get all of these materials back and move it somewhere else. So instead, we're going to focus our energy on, you know, improving the rest of this stuff. There's still more stuff we need to do. Like, remember right here, I did say I was going to build this emergency overflow thing. So if we're going to do that, then we're going to do that. Not that this is ever going to be that full to begin with, but just in case, I do want to have this overflow in place so that no horrible tragedy ever befalls these beavers or bots ever again. At least not that kind of tragedy ever again. But we do have an issue with wood. Surprise, surprise, it's one of my playthroughs. We're going to not have enough wood. That's just kind of how it goes. But I think, honestly, a lot of that is due to us having to do these emergency, like, wood building things. And so on and so forth. I really don't think this is an inadequate amount of wood to be growing for normal construction and industrial purposes. So I think we're okay. I think we're okay. We can go ahead and set this off. And yeah, again, this is a super overflow protection thing, so that in and of itself is going to be adequate. Again, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, but you asked for it, you get it, and now that problem is sorted forever. As soon as they build that, which will take 80 logs, and yes, I know we are very low on logs, but that's the way it goes. And that'll get us a whole 6 logs back. But you see how we have 1,000 planks. I think we can afford to turn some of these off. And gears-wise, like, I know we have to have a lot of materials to build the rest of this stuff, but I don't think we really have to have so many. So, turn my caps lock key back off. Assuming I can push the correct buttons on my keyboard for once in my life, I'll go ahead and just turn off all but one of each of these in our main district and cut our consumption just a tiny bit, and then focus most of the production in here where it's actually going to be used. Because we were very concerned a long while back about having enough canola being grown, and it seems to me that we have solved that problem. And we do have increasingly trending numbers of extract, which, you know, we already have 5 of these centrifuges. But somebody did leave a comment, maybe more than one person, I can't remember, saying that the food factories that are currently useless could be replaced with some centrifuges. And I believe I might have replied to that comment saying that we do that, but right now we don't need that. So I'm just going to pause that because we are going to have extra bots to run these deep water pumps just as soon as the drought is over. So we'll keep an eye on that. Check in with our contamination. Still says 1%. I do want to talk about this idea that at least a couple of you had, and that was to once again tear this whole stack of levees down and put in a sluice gate at the bottom. Which honestly I kind of can't believe I hadn't thought of it, but at the same time I kind of can. You know how it goes. Like, you know how this works, right? It just happens. It just works. So, I mean, I don't necessarily want to get rid of all of the water because, again, this is only 1% contamination, which in the grand scheme of things is not bad. Like, we can just flush straight out this way if we really, really have to. The bigger problem that we're going to run into is that this wall of levees is in place, and that is going to have to be removed if we're going to have everything actually connected here. And it is still substantially higher on this side because I've been trying to get all this bad water out. But you know how it goes. Let's go ahead and pause this deep water pump so we're only pumping bad water. I wanted to build more of these, but again, we didn't have enough wood. Wonder whose fault that was. But, you know, in keeping with what we're trying to do, I do think it's probably going to become necessary for us to plant some more trees over here. And I really don't have a lot of great spots to do it. That's the problem with this map, is it's really hard. I mean, it's supposed to be, but there's not a lot of great spots to do much of anything here without doing a whole bunch of irrigation, which we have kind of avoided because it takes a lot of time. But I know what we can do is go ahead and just start planting stuff here. Probably is going to make sense to put in a little bit of a what do you call it? Yep, that's definitely the technical term. And I'm not going to have this go into this little trench here because that's going to be super annoying to deal with. But I'm pretty sure... Let's actually think about this, what our range is going to be. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. Okay, I'm going to actually move this over 2 blocks. And that... Oh, that actually still might not be enough. Well, this is already irrigated anyhow from this, so let's move it over 2 blocks again. Don't you love it when I end up having to do this? Oh, come on. I can't even click. Seriously? Come on, man. Alright. Yep. We'll just do it there. It'll be okay. Life goes on. But I digress. There's so much going on. And, yeah, the argument could be made that there's still so much we need to do, but, you know, it's... The way I do these videos... It's basically become impossible to make any progress within an acceptable amount of time without just playing 8 hours every time I record, which I absolutely cannot do. So thank you for understanding that. But gotta have more wood. And probably wouldn't hurt to have more kohlrabis either. I know we have a kind of limited amount of manpower, beaver power, whatever you want to call it. So if I put in another farmhouse here, that will attach itself to a decent bit of this. I guess we'll just plant more kohlrabis in different spots. And all of this oil pressing. I didn't even do anything with all this. Ah, there's so much to do and I still can't do any of it. I gotta... Man, this is a terrible map for this. It really is. At least the way I end up playing, which is just try to make stuff in straight lines, but we have to find somewhere to put at least one wind tunnel and a couple of mud baths or something like that, but yeesh. Nightmare. Well, seeing how this is set up right now, I do think it's going to make sense for us to go ahead and, you know, since we're not using these things already, just go ahead and take out probably these 6 items right here, these 6 buildings, and then start moving these food production things. At least the food factories can go, quote-unquote, upstairs. I know it's not really close to these things, but look, like this, with this terrain, with this amount of time that stuff takes, it's really, I think we're past the point for making any arguments about things being efficient. So these 2 here, you already know. Gonna be for corn rations, and then we'll put in a couple of these back here once those are constructed. Hopefully we have enough materials. I think we probably should be okay. But if we clear space out here, this is going to be a 6 by 6 once these are all gone, which in theory would fit a 5 by 5 wind tunnel. And then maybe a little something around the outside, depending on how we want to have stuff situated. Or we could just, you know, do something else with the space. The possibilities aren't technically endless, but, you know, we do actually have some options that we can play with here. Just a whole lot of, well, why did we do this way going on. Alright, so now we take that out and then replace this here and here. You already know. Eggplants, algaes. Got a big old storage for gears, and I guess I could probably put, if I had logs, if I had enough logs, I could put more storage here, but honestly, we got so many bots that aren't working, we could probably put in a couple more hauling posts and be totally fine. But we already have 4 of them. Like, what else do you want me to do about it, man? It's just a whole thing. Just a whole thing. But I believe if I take all of this out, then I will have the ability to put a little bit of something in here. I can take this path out because these are all connected here. Could possibly even move them somewhere else. So we have another bit down this way, but I guess we'll just go ahead and start working on it. I know these 2 are doing soybeans. We don't really have... I mean, we're full on all of our food production storage, with the exception of mangrove fruits and kohlrabis, both of which are kind of a pain in the butt to expand at all. So, if we were to just get rid of all of this completely, then I can come in with a wind tunnel. If I can put my fingers on the correct buttons, thank you. See, that's not going to connect right there because it doesn't actually mesh with anything. But if I were to do, say, right here, and I were to also get mud baths right here, and then also right here, maybe that's not the best spot for it, but this would connect all of these things. Maybe slightly ugly, but when has that ever stopped us before? The answer is never. The detailer also could go here. I somehow always forget to, you know, put images on this, so I'm not going to bother putting that in yet, but it is time for all of our beautiful, clean, perfect, flawless, never ever poisoned anyone ever water to come up here and make its way into the main reservoir. Same kind of deal happening over there. And let's check our... Still says 1% contamination. It's one of those things that's probably never going to go away. But this is going up so slowly, I'm really deeply unconcerned. Deeply unconcerned. But we can see the clean water coming through here. Making its way down this way, buried underneath there, and there it is. The only reason this is still here is because the bots are having to get down into that mess. But we've avoided flooding those buildings, and water is flowing in. Yes, this is still separated, but I think we're going to end up taking this out at some point pretty soon anyway. These are all pumping now. We've got water coming through here. This hasn't quite reached all the way down here, but it will soon. Very soon, and we'll see how long it takes for this to fill up. Now, you might be asking, how are they going to get in here if they don't have a ladder? That is a very good question. We're going to put a ladder in. And since this is update 6, we are able to just kind of put that in that spot and be totally fine. And then we are going to have to put something over here as well. Just get that hooked up. And now I've got 5 wide space here to do something, which, for lack of a better thing to do, I will just put a single fermenter in the middle, doing soybeans until I can figure something else out. But we do have a wind tunnel. We do have 2 of these mud baths that have not been filled with dirt yet. And we do have dirt in the other district that can come in due time. I know this is ugly. It's fine. The time for being mad about ugliness has come and passed a very long time ago. But the question still remains, where in the world am I going to put this thing? Earth Repopulator being a 7-tile wide thing is kind of cramping our style a little bit. But as we've done before, we've figured out interesting opportunities for things to not quite suck as much in terms of, you know, where we place stuff. And I mean, short of building like just straight off this cliff here, I really can't think of anywhere exciting for this to go. There's not really very many options at all. I don't know. So we're probably going to have to, you know, come back to that at some point later. It is what it is. But we are now getting enough water coming in here that this should... Yeah, it says 0. I think at this point it's just time for it to be done. So we're going to just knock all this out, surge flood the rest of this bad boy, and take all these pieces with it. Which these bridges are still here, so they can come grab half of those materials. It is flooding into here, making this a lot more full. This is ready to explode. Nice and simple. And then I believe, seeing how this is popped in here, I mean, the range of this stuff really doesn't matter, but this is going to allow me to get to more of it, so I'll just put that there. And then on this side, we put in fluid dump. It actually doesn't have to be like this. I could put this in just like so. It'd probably be fine. Oh, come on, autosave. This, of course, gives me space for some more lumberjack flags. And then we'll be able to, hopefully, have all of this set up as oak trees. Which, I guess this is a good time to go ahead and get this filled in. I don't know that they can reach this, so let's help them out with some pathing in there. All right, things continuing to improve here. Now, these pumps aren't really doing anything right now because there's pretty much no bad water left at all. And if there is, then it is so inconsequential that, well, it's inconsequential. 0%, no problems found. We're pumping. Our storage is still basically full. But, you know, if you have the opportunity, you take it. Just get it done, and you move on. I have 28 unemployed bots. I have no idea what has... No, thanks, email client. Has not been set over to the bots at this point. I guess Some of these pumps, maybe? Yeah, okay. The earth repopulator, of course. Well, that's about to go away anyway. Farmhouses. That's done. Fermenters. That's done. Fluid dumps. I mean, kind of a waste of bot labor, but we have so many bots, it's like, kind of doesn't matter. That's done. Foresters. Again, almost a waste of bots, but done. Gear workshops have already been put over. Yuri's factories. Hauling posts are kind of the last bastion of the beaver labor in some ways. But you know how it goes. We've got, hopefully... I have encountered a problem. And I solved it! Good. Some of these things may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. We need to put in charging stations to offset what we had before. And I think that's going to be the best possible use of this right here. That's going to transfer power just fine. Alright, so now I only have 5 unemployed bots. I don't think we got all the way down to the bottom. Maybe we did, and I just don't remember outside of the hauling posts. Hydroponic gardens, industrial lumber mills, lumberjack flags. There's a couple of these that are not. Okay, there's a lot of these that are not, but I'm not really that worried about it. Oil press, easy one to fix. Smelters always should have been, but those are paused, so that's not a problem. Tapper shack. Honestly, this, we can probably get rid of this tapper shack. That's going to be inconsequential. Wood workshops, how are those? How are those not? Alright, 7. Let's take this up to 90. I know we don't have enough, but that problem will solve itself eventually, while being 63. And yeah, tapper shack, goodbye. Cut down these pine trees. We don't need that. That's going to be totally fine. Oh, hey, guess what? We can unmark all of this for cutting, because it's not got anything to cut. I don't remember putting this dynamite in, but that's fine there. We're making progress. Slowly. But we are making progress. I wonder, this crossroad here might not be the best place to put this, this thing. But, you know, obviously this would be very elevated, spindly, because that's always what we do. Maybe that's, something to think about. Oh, did this actually... Good. It actually reached almost everything I wanted it to. That is encouraging. And I guess it doesn't quite reach all the way over here anyway, so that's, I guess, fine. We'll mark it anyway, just in case at some point in the future it does. But now it's about time for us to just kind of, you know, try to wrap up what we can. Get things looking a little bit nicer. I mean, this is a lot of oak trees. We just kind of had to, you know, let stuff catch up. Look at all this canola we haven't pulled out of the ground yet. This is not even close to being necessary, but you never know. It's like the safety demonstration on the airplane. You hope you never have to know it, but if you do have to know it, you're going to be glad you paid attention. I guess that's why they make them with memes and stuff now. I don't know. But regardless, I haven't actually flown it like a decade. I don't... Completely irrelevant. We need to keep increasing our well-being. If I'm going to say the series is over, then it needs to be, you know, done correctly. Rooftop terraces have been an enormous kind of thorn in our side over here. But basically everything we've actually built or done with our beavers has been more or less maxed out. Like the fun, obviously, you know, there's still more to be done with that. Motivatoriums, we can... I mean, I guess we could do something else with this. If I move... Let's see. If I get rid of all of this stuff and just rebuild it, then I could put this one over. And then this would fit in the space of this, which means I need to unplant those 2 trees, and those are 30-something, so you say bye-bye to that. That's going to kind of solve itself. Put 2 of the motivatoriums there. I know this is not really very accessible. But it could be worse. Could be a whole lot worse. And if the beavers don't have to hardly work at all, then that means more of them will have the ability to actually have fun. Which is kind of the goal, no? Well, regardless, that can go away. These trees are for cutting. I guess it's not such a bad thing that those are pines. That's probably fine. Again, food is totally, completely pegged. Except for the mangrove fruits and the kohlrabis, which, if you check the stats, are more or less totally fine. Coffee's looking pretty good. But rooftop terraces, not going to give us a big boost for the well-being, but, you know, it's currently sitting at 0, so I think we can do something about that. Unfortunately, the rooftop terrace has to be built on top of actual buildings, which makes it hard to have enough for 99 beavers. But if we are certain we aren't going to have any more hydroponic gardens, then we do have the option of just, like, super stacking these things. Like, you put in right there. I can't, I'm pretty sure. And again, I know this is ugly. I do not care. Oh, yeah. You want high-rise living? You're gonna get your high-rise living. Check that out, folks. You know, your feet might get a little warm because you have, like, all these fires underneath you, but if it's approved by the Beaver engineers, then it's approved by the Beaver engineers, regardless of whether or not that is a real organization with actual standards. But we can go ahead and we can put in a whole bunch of these guys, and then we have space for other fun stuff that we've missed. So let's see. Shrubs. All of the houses have shrubs. Lanterns. The houses do not have... Wait. No, they totally do. Okay. Roofing pieces. Yep. Braziers. Yes. Beaver busts. Yes. Beaver statues. Yes. Clock. Also yes. Wow. So we hit everything. Except the Tory gates. Primitive. Yeah, we don't have a primitive one. We don't have a simple one. Wait, do we have a primitive one? No. No simple. But the demo version, never mind. That one's good. I think we have the iron one. Yes. We don't have the great metal and we don't have the great wooden. This, of course. I've made multiple references in multiple playthroughs as to which shrine actually has this. I do not remember the name, so please roast me or don't roast me, depending on how passionate you are about these things. This thing just takes up so much space, and it's also, I guess, supposed to be built in water. The game doesn't tell you that. But this guy, oh yeah, we can put this thing somewhere, and it will still have a pretty decent reach across most of the map if I can find a fair place to put hold on. It might actually kind of work, maybe a little bit. Too far from a district and can't be... Yeah, stop it. Just quit crying about it. There we go. So they can build that way. That's going to give us a nice boost. That will fill out the this. The Earth Repopulator, of course, will give us a big plus 10. A Detailer. Oh man, I really wish I would have put those pictures in the... I had them on the other computer, and I was like, oh, I did that once. I never have to do it again. And then, you know, you move to the new computer, and you don't have that in your Timberborn folder anymore, despite your Steam stuff all being cloud synced. Well, it can't cloud sync your My Documents folder. Although I guess there's probably some sort of provision for that. Not sure I'd want it to do that in the first place, but yeah, it looks like that's basically the only big ticket item left. Well, these two, and then increasing access to the motivatorium. And scratchers, somehow, I don't know how they're not all in those things, but come on, autosave. We know we can kind of juice the numbers, as it were, by putting a bunch of these in here. So if 8 of them doesn't help, I don't know what will. That'll solve a decent smattering of problems. These are all big signs. Lanterns, you know, the same aesthetic need is served by what we already have. And the rest of this, I don't know, maybe we could be nice and put a bench. A couple of benches. There we go. You got your little conversational bench right next to the big wraparound conversational bench with a fire pit in the middle. This is where all the cool kids would sit, and these are where the scrubs have to go. Front of the bus, back of the bus, etc. So what does this need? Ah, okay. This has to have bot parts, which, you know, we don't have in this district. But what we can do, we can bring this all the way over here, and then I just have to bring in one of these guys, and then I suppose at the very end, let's pop in one of these, and voila, we'll be able to build that without having to force bot limbs to go into this district, because that's just an absolute nightmare to try and figure out. We do have a drought coming in 1.5 days, 1.4 days, and the reservoir is nice and full. We have a tremendous quantity of water actually already pumped, but we can go ahead and... oh, there's no more bots available. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that open anyway, just in case some bots accidentally become available. We have some extra ones now, let's not forget. Still planting all these oak trees. The problem should, you know, slowly kind of maybe a tiny bit resolve itself. I don't think we're going to get the chance to have backup in here, but seeing how full this already is, we're not going to get any more water. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more water past a certain point with this, because there is currently a drop of, like, I don't know, 2/3 of a block because of the height of these sources. So, it's probably about time for us to just open this up for the last day. And, you know, try to fill a little bit of this so we have emergency pumping available. And also because it's nice to take a look at whatever. The last day doesn't really end up making much of a difference anyhow. Just give them a little bit of a something to do. Alright. Things progressing nicely. I mean, look at all our rooftop terraces we have. They still haven't got these bot parts. Come on, man. This is connected, right? Well, maybe it's because the bot parts are all going to make bots. That's a novel concept. I am going to close this again. I just wanted to get a little bit of water in here. Shove the rest of that through. This is still set fine. I mean, yeah, it was never going to be full in the first place. But that's a pretty good start. And if all of our tanks over here are full, then we can either build more, or we can say, you know what, 41,000 is completely overkill, and we're just going to keep on doing our best with what we have. So, going into this drought, I really hope this is a nice long one. But I think it is about to be time for us to just say bye-bye to all of this garbage. Get these things out of here. Get this connected, I suppose. Get rid of one more of these, just so we can have the path go past where the edge of this building is. Or is going to be. Come on. Come on. Chop that thing down. So let's just take a look here. Motivatorium. So we can motivatoriate all these beavers. There you go. Two of them right next to each other. It's ugly. But that's fine. What's that? I'm ugly and I'm proud. Whatever that thing from SpongeBob. I'm ugly and I'm proud. Regardless. Little bot charging station there is never going to hurt anybody. 31! Come on, man! Oh my god, give me the 100 days thing. I'm not asking. I am no longer asking. I'm demanding. For those of you, just so we can, you know, dispel this once and for all, I get so many comments saying, just go in dev mode and do it. Alright, let's go in dev mode. I pushed Z too many times. So, unless I'm about to make an absolute fool of myself, which is entirely possible, the only controls that I have for these seasons are jump to next daytime, jump to next season, I can reset soil moisture, which will immediately kill all of your crops. Don't do that. And then I can toggle a bunch of models, and I can toggle sounds, and I can do water simulation, but I can't actually change the duration of any cycles. I can just get to the next cycle. So unless I want to go in and just hit jump to next season a billion times until I get a 99 or 100 day drought, which I guess I technically could, then, you know, there's not really anything I can do. So hopefully that, you know, answers your question about can't you just go in dev mode to it? Look, well, no. I don't know, maybe somebody smarter than I actually knows how to do that, but I digress. I just had to get that off my chest. Let's take a look. 200 HP, so one of these can handle both of those. It will not handle both of those and a charging station, however. So we will need to put in another engine. For ease sake, I will put it here. And then these three things, you know, squashing all that are probably going to be totally fine. The the oil presses are 50 HP apiece. So that's 150, plus this is 200, so I have a spare 200, which, you know, don't think that's going to be an issue, finding ways to use that. So that'll be another 50, then this will be another 50. So I will have one more of these that I could put somewhere in addition to this one, and that will solve most of our problems. But honestly, I think it's going to be fine. I think we're going to be okay. I just need them to build the rest of this stuff so we can keep moving on. But I digress. I got a lot of extra bots, so we can do some more redistribution here. That's basically perfectly matched, so send this up to 100 bots over here. Part of the reason why I'm trying to add additional chargers. And again, here we go, trying to, you know, get more bots in the actual jobs. Hauling post is the next big one, but I want to take care of all of them first. Lumberjack flags, kind of a waste of a bot, but that's the only thing that's left besides the hauling posts. So I have 11 actually, so let's bring another 10 over. And then we can start with the hauling posts. I will, of course, deprioritize all of these when I put the bots in. And that will give us 29 vacancies. And you can see that one's empty, that one's empty, that one's almost all the way empty. That's going to automatically take care of all of our problems. So there are no longer any beavers actually working. So we should see this climb substantially, especially if they ever decide to put in the stinking bot limbs. Like, come on, man. Like, I know you have the components. I see them right here. So if I were to pause all of these, they should be able to come over and build these. It says can't get all the required materials. Well, you're lying to me because I see them right here. If I bump the priority up, is that going to change that? Am I going to have to pause and restart? Yeah, what gives, dude? I see the materials standing right here. I know you can get them. I know you can get them. This is not a problem of you not having access to the materials. This is a problem of you wanting to put the materials in. And we have storage. We've got a full 200 storage for each of these pieces, and it's in the same district, so I know they can do it. So we'll leave that alone for a little bit, and just, you know, see how things are going to progress. Another 10 bots over here help take care of stuff. 66 well-being. Let's examine this. Okay, obviously that's not finished yet. Pegged all the way up, with the exception of these 1.9s right here. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Will be looking good if they ever figure out they can actually build that stupid thing. Earth repopulator we already talked about. Detailer we already talked about. Motivatorium is really the only laggard at this point. So, why is... Oh, I did a stupid... That's embarrassing. Alright. I can't believe it. I mean, I definitely 100% can. But... Got to get these guys in here, building that in the back. And then I gotta do one of these numbers. Come on. There you go. And then I gotta put this guy in here. I don't know why I didn't remember that that's how that worked. Why is it not working? Oh, you didn't plug it in, you... Okay. Family show. We'll go ahead and get that popped in. And then right in front of it, charging station, and then finally, the motivatoriums will be able to motivatoriate, and then we'll be in very good shape. Plank storage, metal block storage, canola seed storage probably could move somewhere else, and then I can put maybe some other stuff over here. That seems like a smart choice, maybe to move it over here. Get that emptying out. Tooth grindstone, no longer necessary. Well-being of 69, very nice. Empty, goodbye. Metal blocks being emptied. I don't know that I have any other storage in this district to speak of. 70 well-being, also nice. Oh! I can plant additional oak trees. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. I don't know why that one bit has just lived rent-free in my brain for so many years. But it has. Alright, I no longer care about these metal blocks finding a home. That's already gone. This little fluid dump splash thing, I mean, like, look at all this. It's a 31-day drought. We can say bye-bye. Which means that path can go away, which means... Okay, that's actually kind of important to have this ladder here. But now, we take a look at our space here. Take a look at this. Oh, okay, they're all able to access, except detailers and the Earth Repopulator, and then the Great Torii Gate. Yeah, you know what? This is basically fully complete. So, in the interest of wood, we're going to have to plant wood. That'll work there. Where's the closest lumberjack flag? Alright. Then I bet I can just get away with having one of these here. And actually, if I was going to be smart about it, I'd put it in the middle. There we go. Let them do what they got to do. Pick up all the pieces and move on with our lives. Which leaves us with the final question of where are we going to put the Earth Repopulator? And I'm going to go ahead and demand 130 bots in here. Ah, man. Like, I didn't think this was that bad of a spot, but you know how it goes. We have extra space here, technically. And this would technically almost fit here. But I don't think we'd be satisfied with that. Now, we could just kind of build it off the back here. We do have the entrance that could get... you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. If that is going to be too tall. I can't get away with putting that there, but I can get away with putting that there, and I can get away... No, I can't, actually. Alright, well... If I research this, if I put that there, what's going to happen is these have to be built out. And then this has to be filled in. And then on top of that... See, this is how we always do this. That can just be put there. Now, the potential, like, other funny thing that could happen if I put this right here is that they could fly straight into the side of a cliff. Which, maybe not the kindest thing we could be doing to these poor beavers. So, you know. But I don't especially hate this. I do a little bit, but I think what I'm going to do is... I wanted to kind of do this a while ago anyhow. I wanted to kind of get this out of the way here. And actually lower this whole thing a little bit in the middle. Which, by the time this unfolds, like, remember, this whole thing, like, just like that. And then they just take off at an angle, so... Oh boy, I know some of you are going to be real upset about this. But we can let them do that, and that does, of course, mean bye-bye. Come pick up your pieces. So much just stuff on the ground. Why will you not build this? Come on, man. Like, it's right here. And I know this is connected. It still says can't get materials. Like, what kind of nonsense is this? Like, is this just not close enough? Do I have to put another ladder here? Like, I know you're like not supposed to like walk through these in certain circumstances, but I don't know that beavers care. Like, come on, man. Like, what is going on with this? Like, I know it's not too far away because it's actually in range. But, you know, I'm so curious about why this doesn't work. Like, am I really going to have to just go ahead and put in little warehouses for all this stuff? I feel like that's what I'm going to have to do. Chassis, head, limbs. I'm at my wit's end, man. Just build the stinking thing. Come on. So, if they don't build this, then that's going to be an issue, because I'm gonna have to figure something out. But we do know that they can get to. Oh, they don't have metal blocks. Oh yes, somebody. Not going to name any names, but somebody got rid of the metal block storage in this district. I wonder who that could have been. At any rate. Oh boy. Yeah, choices were certainly made. But I'm going to go ahead and just get all of this blasted down within a certain range of the Earth repopulator, and then maybe they won't crash into terrain. Maybe just a thought. Just a thought. And then that'll be a much safer option. We'll see what happens. But that's going to end up being a time-lapse thing. Alright. Wow, they actually did it. They actually did it, and all it took was me being angry. Alright, get that out of here. Get that out of here, get that out of here. You can pick up your pieces. Logs and planks. So that brings our well-being up to 71. That's really only a +1? Seriously? I thought it was higher than that. Why is the clock higher? Okay, they just don't appreciate architecture. Well, regardless. That is one of the last things we had to do. I think we probably need to put in some more chargers. So I will go ahead and put 3 more right there. We do have 4 here, which is fine. I kind of want some chargers over here, but they do have access via this. There's a couple over here, and then we do have 4 of them over here. You know, for 130 some bots, it's probably not going to be even remotely enough. But there's only ever like 1 or 2 bots out of energy at a time. So, you know, once they actually have metal here and they can actually build this stuff, then that's going to become a very interesting thing for us to try and build here. Let's go ahead and get that moved out of the way so it doesn't look quite so ridiculous. And then we are going to have probably stairs up in there, and they'll be able to build this. And you know what? I figured now is a good time to go ahead and time-lapse a little bit of this building while we do our end-of-episode stuff. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I really do. This series has gone on probably longer than it realistically should have, but I really don't like leaving things unfinished. But the time for this one to end is here. So plan on next episode being the final episode, episode 33, where we'll set off the Earth repopulator and see if there's anything else we could possibly get done without it just kind of dragging on. But, I mean, we've gotten basically to maximum happiness already. We'll put the detailer in. We will put the images so we can have whatever all over the beaver's tails, but we basically kind of solved the thing, minus, you know, not having completely full storage of kohlrabies or mangrove fruits. But, you know, the beaver's happiness is at its maximum. Somebody had a comment suggesting that we could have the simulation run at super speed for a really long time to prove that we actually got everything. But, I mean, I don't really know how necessary that's going to be. If you guys want it, I guess we could probably do it, but I am well and truly, completely, and I mean absolutely out of ideas for this one. But regardless, I am so glad that you're here, and I really appreciate all the support and enthusiasm you guys have had for this series and the other ones. But it is time to put this one to pasture and move on to the next. Whenever that might be. I know we talked about doing Water Beavers Update 6, and I'm going to try to find time in the schedule for that one. I don't want to commit to another, like, incredibly long 4 or 5 month series if I know I'm not going to have the slots for it. But regardless, your support makes it possible to even have these discussions in the first place. Beard Boosters, of course, directly funding the channel with all their fun stuff. But I really appreciate you, whether or not you're part of that list. And I hope whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, you have a fun and a safe time, and we'll look forward to seeing you again very soon for more Beaver shenanigans in the other series, as well as this one, and other stuff to come. I know I've been saying it forever, but we can finally, once this series ends, we can finally start getting back into other stuff. But that's all I got for this one. Stay safe, have fun. We will catch you again next time. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.